Rome, 44 BC. The city is a powder keg of political ambition and simmering resentment. At the center of it all stands one man, Gaius Julius Caesar. He's just been declared dictator for life, a title that elevates him to near-divine status. To the common people, he's a hero, a champion who brought them glory and grain. But to the old guard, the senators of the Republic, he's a tyrant in the making. A man who has torn down centuries of tradition to build his own throne. Little does he know, the daggers are already being sharpened, not by foreign enemies, but by men he calls friends. This is the story of Caesar's final days, a gripping tale of power, paranoia, and the ultimate betrayal. Let's rewind a few weeks before the infamous Ides of March. Caesar is at the peak of his power. He's planning a massive military campaign against the Parthian Empire, a move designed to avenge an earlier Roman defeat and further cement his legacy. The city is buzzing with preparations, soldiers are mustering, supplies are being gathered, and the air is thick with anticipation. Caesar is a man of action, and this new war is all he can think about. He's a general at heart, more comfortable in a legionary camp than in the stuffy halls of the Senate. But it's in those halls where the real danger lies. While Caesar dreams of conquering the East, a conspiracy is taking root right under his nose. The plot wasn't born overnight. It was a slow-burning fire fueled by fear and envy. The ringleaders were Gaius Cassius Longinus, a man who held a personal grudge against Caesar, and Marcus Junius Brutus. Brutus. His name has become synonymous with betrayal, and for good reason. Caesar saw Brutus as a son. He had pardoned him after the Civil War, showered him with honors, and trusted him implicitly. Brutus, on the other hand, was torn. He admired Caesar but was fiercely loyal to the idea of the Roman Republic, an ideal he believed Caesar was destroying. The conspirators played on this internal conflict, convincing Brutus that assassinating Caesar wasn't murder, but a necessary act of patriotism to save Rome from a king. As the day of the assassination, the Ides of March, approached, the signs and omens grew more intense. Or so the stories go. Ancient historians tell us of strange lights in the sky, horrifying nightmares and bizarre animal behavior. A soothsayer named Spurina had famously warned Caesar to beware the Ides of March. On the morning of March 15th, Caesar's wife, Calpurnia, begged him not to go to the Senate. She had dreamt of holding his murdered body in her arms. Caesar was a man who typically dismissed such superstitions, but Calpurnia's fear was so real that he almost stayed home. He hesitated. This one moment of hesitation could have changed the course of history. But fate, or perhaps the conspirators' cunning, intervened. A senator named Decimus, another man Caesar trusted, arrived at his home. When he heard Caesar was considering staying home due to bad omens and his wife's dream, Decimus scoffed. He asked Caesar if he was really going to insult the Senate by sending a message that he was waiting for a better day because of a woman's dream. He played on Caesar's pride, reminding him of the honors the Senate planned to bestow upon him that day. The peer pressure worked. Shamed into action, Caesar dismissed the warnings and decided to go. It was a fatal decision. As he left his house, a teacher named Artemidorus tried to hand him a scroll detailing the entire conspiracy. But in the bustling crowd, Caesar simply passed it to an attendant to read later. He never got the chance. The scene of the crime was the theater of Pompey, where the Senate was meeting temporarily. As Caesar entered, the conspirators surrounded him, pretending to present a petition. The signal was given. One senator grabbed Caesar's toga, pulling it from his neck. Then the first dagger struck. Caesar tried to fight back, a 55-year-old man against dozens of younger senators armed with daggers. He was a seasoned soldier, and his instincts took over. He stabbed one of his attackers with his writing stylus, but he was hopelessly outnumbered. He was stabbed again and again. The accounts say he saw Marcus Brutus among his attackers, dagger in hand. The betrayal was complete. According to the historian Suetonius, Caesar's last words were in Greek. Kai su, teknon. You too, my child? With that, he pulled his toga over his head, accepting his fate, and fell at the base of a statue of his former rival, Pompey the Great. He had been stabbed 23 times. The immediate aftermath was chaos. The conspirators, calling themselves the Liberators, expected the city to hail them as heroes. They marched through the streets, proclaiming that the tyrant was dead and the Republic was restored. But they had made a catastrophic miscalculation. They had killed Caesar the man, but they had not killed his legacy or the love the people had for him. When Caesar's will was read, it revealed that he had left a considerable sum of money to every Roman citizen and had bequeathed his vast personal gardens to the public. This act of generosity, even in death, turned the public tide firmly against the assassins. At Caesar's public funeral, his loyal general, Mark Antony, delivered a masterful eulogy. He didn't just praise Caesar, he cleverly turned the crowd into an angry mob. He held up Caesar's blood-soaked toga, pointing to the rips and tears made by the daggers of men Caesar had called friends. He reminded the people of Caesar's victories, his generosity, and his love for Rome. The crowd erupted in fury. They drove the conspirators out of the city and hunted them down. The assassination, meant to save the Republic, did the exact opposite. It plunged Rome into another brutal civil war, a conflict that would ultimately destroy the Republic forever and pave the way for the rise of the Roman Empire under Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, who would become the first emperor, Augustus. The shadow of Caesar's betrayal looms large over history. It's a timeless story about the corrupting nature of power, the fragility of loyalty, and how personal ambition can clash with political ideals. The men who killed Caesar believed they were saving Rome, but in their desperation, they unleashed forces they couldn't control. They wanted to prevent a king, but ended up creating an emperor. The Ides of March wasn't just the end of Caesar's life. It was the death knell of the Roman Republic and the bloody birth of an empire that would shape the world for centuries to come. The story of Caesar's last days is a stark reminder that even the most powerful can be brought down, and that the path of history often takes unexpected and violent turns. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey back to ancient Rome, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from history. See you next time.